Welcome to another Paris, Texas, a podcast. This is a podcast where you get to listen to people's stories. People that have either influenced or lived in the city of Paris, Texas. I love hearing their stories, and I can't wait for you to hear the next guest. Alright guys, today's guest is a friend of mine. I've known him for a while. Actually, we worked together forever ago. Justin Golden. Right. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Okay, so where are you from?
So I am actually from Paris.
You hail from Paris.
I hail from Paris, actually Powderly. So 2 miles from Sanders Cove.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
I love that.
I was born here when Paris Regional Medical was McChristian, and was born there. Born there and then raised here. So that's
Did you go to the lake a lot when you were a kid?
We did. My dad has always had a boat. He's always had a bass boat. Some form of a boat. My dad's a boat guy. Right now,
still have a boat?
He has 3 boats now.
Three boats.
Three forms of a boat, I would say. He has a bass boat. He has a duck hunting boat, and then he has a canoe. So that's just my dad.
That's just your dad.
It's just what he does.
Do you have a boat?
I do not have a boat.
Okay.
I will stay away from owning a boat for as long as I can.
It's like me and my parents. They have a farm.
Oh, you don't have a farm.
I do not.
I live down the street from you. You do not have a farm.
I do not have a farm. Yep. No farms, and there probably will not be a farm in my future.
Yeah. No boats, no farms.
Okay. Awesome.
Deal.
All right. So, did you go to school in Powderly?
I did. I went to Aaron Parker, actually.
So, and it's a branch off of North Lamar.
Off of North Lamar, yeah.
Right.
So I went to Aaron Parker. Actually, I was out there kindergarten through 3rd grade. When I went into 4th grade, that's when North Lamar said everyone that goes to Parker that's hitting 4th grade has to move to town. So from there, I went from Aaron Parker to Bailey Intermediate School, and did 4th and 5th there. I was actually at Aaron Parker when the building burned down. There were some troublemaking children that decided to go in and put a lot of wood glue on the walls and set it on fire, and actually burned down one of the buildings out there. So I spent 2nd grade in a trailer out at Aaron Parker.
Wow!
So that was fun. So I remember that.
Yeah, I would. That'd be a hard. That would be a very hard thing to forget.
Yeah, very vividly remember being like, "Oh, my school's on fire."
I was the first freshman class to go to the new high school at North Lamar.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So actually, it was if I remember correctly, it was 3 months late in being finished built.
Yes.
So we helped the teachers move their stuff, their classroom into their classrooms into the new building.
Child labor.
So I don't know
That's
that.
amazing.
I always claim that I'm the first, the first class to go all the way through the new building because I went freshman through through senior there. But technically, I didn't. There was 3 months shy. But anyway.
But
I remember that building when it was just shell.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
But it was never burnt down.
No, it was not burnt down. No. So, yeah, I spent 2nd grade in a trailer, 3rd grade in a classroom, which was cool because, they moved us back in. And then 4th grade, moved to town, did the town thing. So that's when my parents moved, actually, from Sanders Cove around that area to Beaver Creek. And then I grew up most of my life in Beaver Creek.
Awesome.
So that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of friends out there. So
awesome.
It was cool. Yeah.
All right, so what was your thing through school?
I was a band guy.
Band.
I was band. I
awesome.
was band. And if there's a nerdy section of band, I was in that section.
What's crazy? I've hung out with a bunch of band. I've done a few videos for the band at North Lamar actually. They are some really team oriented, really just family team people. If you get into the band, you are
oh, it's a whole culture, man.
It's a huge culture. It's being a part of Harry Potter or something.
It really is. And it's so fun, belonging to that. I remember so specifically, just feeling so welcomed all the way from middle school, being a beginning band, and then going up through high school. And that's actually what it made such an impact on me. That's what I went to college to do, went and did some in college with that. But anyways. High school band, high school band was such a fun thing for me. Just having a family, having something to belong to. After home games, we had these special band dances. So Randy Jones, the band director, who is a phenomenal man, shout out to him because he's such a cool guy, big inspiration in my life. Such a neat guy. He would bring in a DJ, and they would set up, we'd clear the band hall after home games, and it was just for band members, and you could bring a guest if you wanted to, but it was our place.
Yeah.
Like, it was our shindig, and we just did.
No party crashers.
No party crashers, and there was...
No, I think I remember this.
It was so much fun. And we had more fun there. In fact, it was so funny. I remember that on homecoming, we would always get so angry because Mr. Jones would never let us have a band dance on homecoming because he knew that it would interfere with the homecoming dance. No one would go to that because band dances were the stuff. They were the best place.
So it was like a homecoming dance every single
game. Home game. Every home game. And it was from the time that we got back to the band hall till midnight. It was awesome.
I remember this in high school.
It was awesome.
Okay, so... One of the things, when you were in middle school, you started.
Mm-hmm, I did.
Were there a lot of kids in that, or is that something that like?
Yeah, so in middle school, the way that it works is like, you decide kind of in middle school, which is crazy. You decide kind of your path for the rest of your, middle and high school. It's like, I'm either going to be an athletic person, I'm going to be in choir, I'm going to be in band.
That's where I went wrong. I never figured that out in middle school.
And
I didn't do any of those.
I didn't do any of those. And I came from an athletic family. So my dad was an all-star athlete, just a phenomenal athlete. My mom, athlete. My sister, who's younger than me, she's an athlete, was great. And I was like, I want to play trumpet. I want to try that. And my parents were like, oh, okay. They were fully supportive. It was amazing. But this was a whole new world for them. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to play trumpet. I want to try this. And so in beginning band, I found a trumpet at the flea market there that used to be on the Loop for $40. And I was stoked into my brain to find that. And I remember so much like wanting to like invest in it, have skin in the game. So we found it. And my dad was like, oh, I'll get it for you. If you want to do this, I'll get it for you. It's like, I want to pay half. I want to pay half. And so we went half in. Yeah. And so I started in 6th grade, and then
once you get to marching band, though, it is an athletic sport.
It is. In fact, at North Lamar, you can either, if you're in the band, you don't have to have another athletic credit. You can just do band.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, it's fabulous. So I never had to do anything else. Just band was my PE or my athletics, because you're out there in the middle of summer in the heat of the day. We would wear Camelback hydration packs, and we'd be out there just sweating up a storm, playing our instruments.
Seen it.
So much fun. That's
awesome.
Fun. So,
and you can hear those suckers from a long ways away.
Yes.
Across town sometimes. You're like,
so
I hear a band.
Like,
is that a band?
What's this noise?
And I'm not even close to the high school. Okay, so you graduated from North Lamar.
Yep.
What year?
06.
06.
06.
Wow. Okay, and what was your plan?
So my plan after that was to go to Northwestern State University in Natchitoches, Louisiana, which I did, to be a music education major. And so that was my plan. So again, if there's a band nerd, I was that nerd of band nerds.
So you wanted to teach it?
I wanted to teach it. I wanted to be. My plan was to go to NSU to get my undergrad finished with a music education degree, work somewhere as a band director or as an assistant band director, whatever I needed to do to be able to get to my master's, so that I could go on to teach collegiately. Like, I wanted to be. Marching band was my gig. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the behind the scenes of it. So
At this time, how many instruments were you playing?
So I was playing trumpet and guitar. And then once you get into college, they start to throw other instruments at you. They're like, here, learn how to play this. And so it's like, okay. So you're well-rounded.
Okay.
But trumpet was my principal instrument and really enjoyed that. But I wanted to go, and I actually wanted to teach. I wanted to be like a marching coordinator at a college, or worked for Drum Corps International, which is, a professional marching band organization that I wanted to work for as a marching coordinator. So that was my plan.
That's awesome.
That was my plan. So.
All right, where did it go awry?
So the plan went awry when I went to school and figured out that my plan that I had was not the plan that God had for my life. I realized very quickly.
He'll let you know.
He will let you know, and he did. Because I knew all through high school, I knew all through at an early age that the Lord, had a call in my life to live for him and to be for him in some sort of ministry. And coming into high school, like, I was involved in my church. Like, I was leading worship in youth group. I was teaching, some youth group studies even, which was crazy because I'm like, I'm the same age as you. This is weird. But the Lord was like, yeah, it was neat. But I was like, okay, but I want to do my thing. I enjoy band. I enjoy what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I want to do this. And so I went my way. I went my way and realized in school that my way led to the way that didn't need to be gone down. And so
the highway.
It was not fun. Okay. And so ended up enjoying playing, enjoying doing the school thing, but did not enjoy passing the school thing because of, just that was my plan, and it wasn't what the Lord wanted. And so I was disobedient and walked that way.
And so where did you go? Like, did you just leave?
So I left and came home. So I came back to Paris.
Okay.
And just was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to be here. So I came here and started working, and started working at Kimberly-Clark, actually.
Wow.
So, yeah. So
what did you do at Kimberly-Clark?
I drove a forklift out there. So worked in, it was funny because they called it was the logistics sect of Kimberly-Clark. So you could say logistics, and it was a great time, but I just rode a forklift for 12 hours a day or night, depending on, what shift I was on. So
I don't know that I could ever survive shift work.
Yeah, it wasn't the shift work. It would be fine if it was like, just a solid you're on days and you're on nights, but the swing shifting thing. So not that. That is horrible.
Who thought up that idea?
I don't know. It's horrible.
Let's just mix it up. Let's play with everybody's.
Exactly. And you'd have guys out there who were just monsters who would work so much overtime because you could get it out there. They would work through those transitions. So they'd be on days and they'd be like, well, I got to work nights tomorrow. It's like, nope.
That
sounds awful.
Hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass. No deal for me.
Both my parents are from Kimberly-Clark, so I get you.
I didn't know that. My mom worked at KC for 25 years.
Awesome. My dad's been out there since it was open.
Nice.
My mom drove a forklift for a long time out there as well.
Very cool. Yeah, my mom worked in the mailroom, and then she ended up, because she could type, she passed a typing test, got a different position that she stayed in until she retired out there.
Awesome.
So cool. But
awesome.
Anyways, so I was out there for 2 years, and just kind of worked and figured out what I wanted to do. And really just kind of figured out that, hey, I need to listen to the Lord and let Him lead and guide.
So where did He take you? Like, after those 2 years of listening, where did you go?
So from there, I stayed local in Paris, but I had this inkling. I was like, okay, if I stay at KC, this is something that will be a great job for me, but I know this isn't where I'm supposed to be. This has been a filler time for me, but I need to get out. I need to bail.
Yeah.
So I bailed, and bailed hard. Just said, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. I was substitute teaching a little bit at North Lamar, which was cool that they let you come in and do that. So I was doing that, and that was going well. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. That seems to be funding my living, so I'll do that. So I quit KC, trusted in that. It didn't quite pan out, so that's when I actually went to Paris Fitness and Aquatics and applied for a job there, and got that job. Got that job. I did get that job. I did get that job, and with that job, they're just like, it was like the doors just opened up. It was really cool.
Really?
It really did. It was really neat. So,
awesome.
Started getting involved with Young Life here in Paris. It was when Jeff King was here. He was the director here.
I know Jeff King.
Yeah, you do know Jeff King well. That's right. You sure do. And love that guy. And I was involved with that. And then Paris Fitness and Aquatics became my job, and that is where the Lord brought me my beautiful wife in the most crazy way.
That.
You remember that, actually. I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, Broadway was so intricately involved in that, and I'm very thankful for that.
So we worked, for those that don't know, we worked at Paris Fitness and Aquatics together. We worked behind the counter, and it was which campus was that?
South Campus.
South Campus.
Yeah, when it was still open.
With the pool.
With the pool, yes.
Well, they both have pools, but...
Yeah, but with the actual, real lap pool.
Yeah, and then, I remember sitting behind the counter and you talking about her for hours.
Yes.
Because that was, when you like somebody, that's what you do.
This is what you do, man.
And then y'all started dating. That was awesome.
We did, and she worked there too. That's where we met. That's exactly it. Yeah. It was so funny how we met because she worked on Sundays, Saturdays and Sundays. And Sundays, especially at South Campus, no one, it was a very chill crowd and very chill type of day. And so she would go up there and look forward to just having the place to herself, especially just to kind of start out because people are still at lunch or getting out of the church gig and stuff like that. And at that time we didn't have like an official uniform, so we could just wear whatever we wanted, as long as it was athletic wear. And so I'm standing out there looking like a bozo, just like waiting outside because I didn't have my key yet, and they hadn't told her that she was training me that day.
Oh,
and so
I did not know she trained you. That's
she did.
funny.
She did. And I remember standing there knocking on the door, and she walked by. She looked, and she's like, No, you're not coming in early to work out. You can wait 5 minutes. And I'm like, I'm going to be late for work because of you. But anyways, she opened the door finally, and I was like, yeah, you're training me today. She was like, oh, okay. So anyways, that happened. So we spent the 5-hour shift of her training me and cleaning yoga mats and just, doing all that. And then you and I worked like the next day.
Yeah, awesome.
Like some 4 a.m. nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Gym work's not fun either.
No, it's not. It's like you get up early, you get there, and anyways.
I recently joined a gym again.
Yeah?
Joined it to work out at, and I did great for like a week. And then, and my only time to work out is like 4 to 4:30 in the morning. And I cannot, I don't know, maybe it's old age. I know I'm not that old, but man, 4:30 is so hard.
It's so hard.
5 o'clock I can do.
Right.
4:30?
No. Absurd. An absurd time of the day.
All right, so you met your wife.
Met my wife.
And then, how long did y'all work at PFA?
We worked at PFA. Okay, so we met in 2009 and got married in 2010. So we dated for about 9 months. Full-time date and engagement was 11 months. And we got married October 2nd, 2010. And we moved to Addison, Texas in December of 2010.
Okay.
So we were there for about a year, and we got married. And immediately as we got married, because we were involved in the college group at Calvary Chapel Paris with Christian Sly and his wife Jo, and got married October 2nd. And then it was actually Christmas Day night we made the final move to Addison, Texas, because we were helping with John Carter and his family with the church plant they were doing in McKinney, Texas.
Yep.
So that's where we made our move out of Paris to go and start our church planting venture.
Awesome.
Which would take us on a crazy ride, which was cool. So, anyways.
Calvary,
Uh-huh.
and then y'all went to Addison, and then that was actually a branch of a Calvary, right?
Yeah, so we went. The church plant was in McKinney.
Right,
we moved
right.
to Addison because the Lord just put that whole move together for us in a really cool way, because we were newly married and absolutely broke, and God was like, "Hey, I want you to go plant this church with the Carters," and we're like, "Okay, we're gonna do it because we're crazy." And so we did. So we moved. We got jobs in McKinney, but didn't have a place to live. And we had a friend whose mother-in-law was putting her house on the market, and she had moved out of it. And while it was on the market, he was like, "Hey, why don't you guys just live in it for free till the lights are on and the AC gets to run so that it doesn't smell like a stove-up house whenever people come to look at it." And so for 6 months, we had free rent, which the Lord totally orchestrated and worked out,
Awesome.
which was so cool. So we lived in Addison and just commuted back and forth to McKinney, and helped get that church off the ground with the Carters, which was really cool. Yeah, which was really cool.
So how long were you there for, like, in McKinney with the Calvary there and the Carters?
So we were in McKinney. McKinney was really Calvary McKinney was really a 2-part thing for us. So we moved in 2010, and we were there for just under 2 years, and saw that church go from a school and one person showing up on like the first Sunday ever to growing into a small congregation, and we got into a building there off 75 and White. They're driving into McKinney, and it was right after we got into that building that Christian Sly and his wife Jo came to us and said, "Hey, we are going to Denver, Colorado to plant a church, and we want you guys to pray about going with us." And they invited 2 other families to go with them as well, really good friends of ours. And actually, I work with Micah Bedford now, again, at Calvary Chapel Paris, which is really cool. But he helped up there in Colorado. But anyways, they came to us and said, "Hey, pray about going to Colorado with us." And we honestly thought that we weren't going to go at first, because we're here in McKinney. we just got into a building. We're seeing this working the way it's going. There's no way. And the Lord was like, you should go.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
What were you doing? Like, what was your job responsibilities at McKinney?
Okay, so in McKinney, actually, so with church plant, you just kind of,
Do everything. I get that.
Yeah, that was it. So I went with the idea that I was going to be like the youth guy, because I was really involved with Young Life. I had a heart for young people, and it was so funny because I had this idea that we were going to go there. I'm like, there's tons of people in McKinney. This is going to blow up. I'm going to be like youth guy really quickly. Extraordinaire. And only girls came. Only girls came, dude. So my beautiful introvert wife had a thriving group of young gals to pour into, and I had literally nobody. And I was just like, oh okay. And God, totally like brought her out of her shell to work with teenage girls or preteen girls, which was terrifying for my wife. And I had to learn that, hey, I'm not all that in a bag of chips. That's pretty much it, man.
All right, so Christian Sly came in the picture, and what was he wanting you to do in Denver, Colorado?
So pretty much kind of the same, just like, hey, come support, help me start this work, be involved in the worship. So he wanted me to help with worship and also to help with youth.
Okay.
And really anything that came into the picture, just come and support and be. And so that's what we did.
So you didn't say no?
I didn't say no. Okay. We ended up going to Colorado with the Slice.
Awesome.
And that was a neat time. It was a very short time, which we knew because as we were praying about it, the Slice and us were very close family friends. And, our best case scenarios, we would live, right next door to each other for the rest of our lives. And being in Colorado with them was an amazing thing. Being there with other friends, the Bedfords was great, and then another family, the Phillips. It was a fabulous time just being with really good friends, serving the Lord together. And we were so content just to be there forever. And God let us know that we weren't going to be there forever. We'd be there for a while, but we weren't going to be there forever. And so that was kind of like, probably like 10 years down the road. And then God's going to still keep us in Colorado or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it was 11 months. And we got up there, saw God do an amazing thing, and again, got that church into a building. It was so funny, because it was just like the start in McKinney. We started in a school and saw us be able to get into a building, and it was maybe a month after, no, it wasn't even that. It was like a few weeks after we got into that building that we felt really led to move back to McKinney. Mm-hmm. And the Lord was just really burden our hearts for the church in McKinney again to come and to move to do that. And we felt that God had said, okay, you were obedient. You moved up to Colorado. You got this work started and helped off the ground. I want you to go back now to McKinney. So we did. So we moved back to McKinney after 11 months in Colorado and started part 2 of Calvary Chapel McKinney with the Carters.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So
now you're back.
So now we're back in McKinney. We're back in Texas.
And part 2.
In part 2.
So what did part 2 look like? What was that?
Okay, so part 2, while we were gone, the church grew more, which was an amazing thing. And with that grew the youth group. We had boys now, which was cool. Okay. That was great. So it was actually like, let's actually have...
I get to do something.
I get to do something now. But it was also more of the worship leader that had moved there with us in part 1 of McKinney had actually moved away, and so I became the worship leader there in McKinney, which was a lot of fun, leading every Sunday, and then started teaching more as well. Started teaching on main Sundays, which was cool because, in Colorado, I really felt that the Lord really grew me as a person and grew me more into focus at what my call in life was to be. And it was the first time that I really realized that I wasn't just going to be like a youth guy or the music guy, but I was actually going to be like a pastor and going to be, I didn't think I was ever going to be the guy, the lead pastor, the senior pastor, whatever, but I knew that I was going to be a pastor who taught the word. And that was new for me because growing up, I was the music guy. I did Young Life and was involved in the youth group at church. So I was youth makes sense, worship makes sense. Teaching adults, nah. Just no. So that became very evident that God wanted me to do that and started getting more opportunities to do that there in McKinney. And so part 2 of McKinney looked like that for 3 years. For 3 years there in McKinney, there was, me and John me and John there.
And was it just the two of you, or were there more?
Yeah, it was just the two of us. So just us, just our family. So we were the two pastors there at that church, and it worked really well. We actually worked together because we were bivocational the whole time that we were there together. And we worked together at a company because he's an eye doctor. Mm-hmm. We worked together at a company. He was working for a doctor that did nursing home optometry. And so I was a technician for him. And we went around to nursing homes every day and checked old people's eyes.
Awesome.
Which was fun.
So y'all got to work together pretty much all week.
We were together all week.
Awesome.
So it was really cool being able to stay in communication and things like that. It was very helpful for the church. But anyways, yeah, so for 3 years that was the dynamic. And then about the end of year 3, John started feeling the Lord say, hey, you've done a good job here. You've been obedient, but I'm moving you and your family elsewhere, not away, but just out of this role and out of this position. And he called John to be obedient in turning the church over to me and my wife. And so year 4 of Calvary McKinney, part 2, was actually Aaron and I, or me as the lead guy.
Solo.
And it went from me.
A lot of weight.
Yeah, that was crazy. And that was where I realized that the Lord, had not just me as the youth guy, not just me as the music guy, not just me as even just someone helping, but hey, I'm going to call you and can call you and will call you because I'm God and I want you to obey me to even be like the lead guy.
Yeah.
And that was new and terrifying for me. And I immediately reached out to people who I was like, hey, I'm terrified of this. They're like, why? God's with you. Just walk in it and do it. So
just do it.
So I did. And for a year, we were there at Calvary McKinney, and I was the pastor. And we saw growth. We saw, new people. We saw people grow in their faith. And it was such a neat thing. It was really a cool thing. So, but that was year 4. And that ended part 2 of McKinney. And now, somehow we ended up back in Paris.
Back home.
We're back here in Paris now. So... anyways, yeah.
I remember as a kid, side note.
No,
I
you're
do
good.
this sometimes
I love
in my
side
podcasts.
notes. Let's go.
I remember as a kid calling Paris the black hole.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like as a kid, I looked at it as like it drags everybody back.
Back, man.
into Paris. As an adult and someone who loves his town very much. I do a lot for my town.
Yeah.
It is, but it's not in a negative way.
Right.
It ends up being a place where you want to come back, to raise your family, to be invested in your community. Mm-hmm. At least that's my heart. But it's awesome that you wound up back here.
Yeah.
And you ended up at the church that you left from.
Yes.
Calvary.
Yeah.
And did you come right back to there?
I did.
Okay.
So when we took over McKinney, I reached out to really 3 people. I reached out to Christian because he's one of my best friends in the world and just said, hey man, I need you to pray. I just need your support. I reached out to another friend of mine who's Eric Coburn, who is there in the Frisco area. He's a pastor over there, and he and I have a great relationship. And I was just like, I just need support. You're a buddy here on the ground. And then I reached out to Phil McKay, who is the lead pastor, the senior pastor of Calvary Chapel Paris. And I was like, hey man, we planned it out of you. I've never met you before, but hey, I want to make a connection.
Yeah, let's do this.
Help me.
Yeah.
And in a practical way, I reached out. I was like, hey, we're going to be moving out of this building that we're in currently back into a school.
Yeah.
We need an insurance policy. You used to carry us. Can you carry us again?
Yeah.
And we from there struck up a conversation. He prayed for me, which was amazing. We met at a conference and just hit it off, which was so cool. And just really struck up this friendship over a distance. The Lord does that. The Lord just knits hearts together because he's cool.
It has nothing to do with the fact that he looks like Thor.
Oh my goodness.
Spot on.
Dude. It's a tower of a man.
He's huge, blonde.
Yeah,
if he had a hammer in his hand, he would be a comic book superhero.
You're exactly right, man.
Every time I look at him, I cannot not see Thor.
Yeah, dude, I tell you what, he, just looking on to now, He's actually started riding bikes with me sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
he'll get on the road with me, which is amazing. He's the best person to get behind to break the wind. I'm just like, praise the Lord. Like, if I need a break, I just slip behind him.
He's big guy.
Big guy. And he's fast, so it's good. So
I used to ride to work when I worked at Calvary.
Okay, yeah.
'Cause we live off of Turtle Creek.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
There's Trail to Paris goes all the way to the back of
Don't have
Calvary.
to see a car. Don't have to have a red light. I ride my bike there often. It's
I love it.
fabulous. It's
Loved it.
so
I
nice.
missed that.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's so nice. But yeah, so I reached out to Phil and was like, "Hey man, help me. I want to start this relationship that we used to have with Paris, and I need help." And so fast forward a year, and there was a position that opened up at Calvary. And
Jumped on it.
Phil let me know. He's like, I know you have the thing going there in McKinney, but I want to offer you a chance to apply to this if you feel led to do it.
And what was that role?
The administrative pastor or the assistant pastor role. So I went through the process, through the whole application process, and really felt God just confirm it over and over again that we were supposed to go.
Yeah.
And here we are, back in Paris, and I've been there since August 7th of 2017.
Love
So
it.
it'll be 2 years this August, and
It's amazing.
really love being back here. So it's
And I worked there, actually. I don't know
Yes.
how many people know that, but I worked there 3 years. A year or two prior to you working there.
okay.
It was. I left right before Phil came on.
Gotcha. Okay, got it.
I've met Phil a handful of times, but and great family, big family, great family,
growing family.
yeah, growing family.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it looks like I saw them the other day downtown going to the library and they were crossing the street, and I was like a line of ducklings.
Line of
going
ducklings,
across.
man. Straight up. Yeah, about to add another boy duckling to that
Oh, my
row.
goodness.
So coming up in October. It's awesome.
And then I've made quite a few friends out of the Calvary family, so that's awesome. So I ask this of a lot of people, and I really like this question, and I'm shocked usually from the answer most of the time. Where's your favorite place to go in Paris? It can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be food. It doesn't have to be. It can literally be anywhere.
I would say what we've already talked about, the trail.
The trail.
I love that thing, man. I got to tell you what. I remember when that trail started coming through here, when Earl Erickson was the guy who showed up and was like, this is going to happen, and he was a monster of a marketer and PR guy and just made it happen. It seems like it just came out of nowhere, right?
Have you ever heard his story?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I filmed a video for him
Really?
a year or two ago.
Yeah, he lives down the street from my parents, and so I would see him riding his bike. Because he'd be on his
Well,
recumbent and everything. It was
a sit-down bike.
Yeah.
Everybody's probably like, how does he do that? But he sits down and uses his arms.
It was his arms. It's awesome.
His story, I don't want to tell it because I don't want to butcher it, but it's so amazing. I have a video somewhere that I've made or worked on with him of his story where he sits down and just tells a majority of his whole story.
Yeah.
And that guy he's a legend among men. Like
Yeah. 100%.
He's an amazing guy, and the stuff he does and the heart he has for his community is unmatched.
It is unmatched. I agree with you,
Yeah.
100%. And so I remember when that thing was put in, and just there was just that little strip behind what is Calvary, and there was just that little strip there.
It was like a mile.
Nothing. And then on the other side, behind PJC, and then on to 3rd Street.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I remember just being like, wow, this is weird for Paris. Like you have Dragon Park, which is great, but what's this trail thing? And then coming back, like, man, it's so amazing. Like, just so cool.
We moved into Turtle Creek before they laid the pavement.
Oh, really?
It was just grass.
Just grass.
Well, I mean, it was obviously an old railroad track.
Right.
But it was just grass.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think it passed, and they tried really hard. Earl tried really hard to get it to be a lineal state park. So that he would get funding from the state to help maintain it and maybe even light it. I mean, obviously I wasn't in all the details. I may be butchering this, but I don't think it passed. But he was trying really hard to get it to be a linear state park. Yeah. And I know he's also tried to apply for grants to make it be like 130 miles long or something like that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be huge. So the whole New Boston to Farmersville, that whole model, which as a cyclist, I'm like, yes, please, let's do that all day. Well,
and you've seen things like the Appalachian Trail and things like There's another linear thing, and I can't think of the name of it. It's a hiking. It's not quite as big as the Appalachian Trail, but similar to that. That people travel from miles to come and be a part of. And that, to me, being someone, when my kitchen window looks out on the trail, love the trail.
Yes.
To me, that would be amazing.
It would be amazing. It would be a great thing for everyone involved.
Yeah.
I mean, tourists, backpackers, town, everyone involved between New Boston and Farmersville would benefit from that.
I would agree with that.
It'd be fabulous.
So,
it would be a
here's
fabulous
to the future.
thing.
Maybe that'll happen.
Maybe that will happen.
I mean, there's always next year.
That's it. That's it. I mean, all I can say is no, and then we'll just try again.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
yeah.
All right, now, okay, we haven't really talked about this. Let me jump back just a little bit. So you and your wife actually have two. There's two.
We have two.
Do you have one on the way?
No, not on the way. Not on the way. Let's not start that. So, and I say that because last Sunday, actually, in children's ministry, it was Draw a Picture of Your Family Day. And Oliver, our oldest boy, he's 3, draws dad, he draws mom, he drew him.
Prophetic.
He drew Henry, our 10-month-old boy, and then he wrote this little
10
blob.
months already?
Yeah, right? And he's almost walking. It's terrifying.
No.
They're both mobile, so it's absolutely terrifying. He's faster and bolder than Oliver ever was. Oliver's our scaredy cat. Dude, Henry is just full bore. He wants every light socket. He wants everything.
That's the second one, right?
That's the second one.
That was Emmett. That was my second
Really?
one. He wants to jump off of stuff.
Yeah! Like, that's just...
Liam, my oldest, is timid. And then Emmett, my middle, is just...
Go.
Bored to the wall. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
We took him to swimming lessons. And the teacher's sitting here describing stuff, and she turns around to show him how to paddle or something.
Yeah.
Beelined it down the walk to just dive into the pool. Has never swam in
Knows
his
nothing
life.
about what to do in the water.
Past hitting the water, knows no clue what to do. Teacher turned around, freaked out.
Oh, no.
And, I mean, I freaked out too.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know what he's going to do.
Right.
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, that and I haven't quite figured out number 3 yet.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked because I still thought you guys were pregnant. And your youngest is 10 months.
Yeah.
I have a 6-month-old, and he is growing so fast.
Yeah, you're all boys, right? You're 3. You're 3 for 3 boys, right?
Boy club.
That's it, man. That's it.
Boy club. Yeah.
I
I really do want a girl, and maybe
Yeah.
who knows what God has in plan.
For
but
sure.
I think we're holding back the reins on having any more of our own.
Gotcha. There you go.
But
Who knows?
who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, Erin, we got pregnant again, and she was like, man, I don't know, a girl would be fun, but man, this boy has been so much fun. Because she was always like, I want a girl. She's like, yeah, boy's fine, but I want a girl. And after Oliver, for 2 years, she was like, I like boys. This is okay.
So Kimmy's that way.
Really? Cool.
She loves boys. She's happy. She's got it figured out. She knows what they're going to do.
Right.
I'm the one that wants a girl. Like, I want these experiences. I want to walk a girl down the aisle, my daughter down the aisle. I want that. I want to be dad who opens the door with a shotgun on the first date and pretends to scare the guy when I had borrowed a shotgun from someone else because I don't own one. If it had been any other way, it'd been me with Nerf guns.
Me with the Nerf guns back.
Don't do it.
Don't you do it.
I want to be that dad.
Right.
But, so.
It's awesome.
Who knows?
Who knows, man? Yeah, so, no, we just have the 2 boys right now, Oliver and Henry, and, that's what it is at the moment. And it's good. They're such a blast.
Yeah.
And, that's what we love about being in Paris right now, is we're close to family with those boys as they're young.
Yeah.
That was such a blessing coming back to. You're talking about the Black Hole of Paris, we were excited to come back to Paris, in such an amazing way. And that was totally the Lord, just changing my heart, to come back here, and my wife's heart too, because my wife's not from here.
Yeah.
She's from Atlanta. She was born in San Diego, lived there for 8 years, and then moved to Atlanta, and then came here for jewelry school at PJC, and stayed because she met some dumb boy. Boys. But for her to want to come back to small town Paris, was also a big thing that the Lord had to work in her heart, and it was cool. So now we're here, and it's great.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on my podcast.
And thanks for having me. It was
I
a lot of fun.
I learned a ton about you, even though I already knew you.
Right.
But
still.
My favorite, I have 2 favorites really. I love having someone I've never met.
Uh-huh.
I shook their hand for the first time as I'm setting up the gear.
That's awesome.
Because then I get to learn a whole lot about that person,
Yeah.
and then having a person that I've known for a long time
Yeah.
come in and learn more about them
Yeah.
that I didn't know.
That's
I mean,
fun.
that's always been my hope for this podcast, is to have people feel more comfortable possibly talking to you if they see you on the street or at Walmart or something, like, I listen to your podcast.
That guy.
You're into bikes? That's awesome. I'm into bikes.
Let's
Where
go
do you
ride.
Where do you get your bike stuff at? Let's go ride.
Straight up, man.
Where do you get your bike stuff from?
Cadence Cyclery in McKinney, but I need to stop by Gear Down, and I need to stop by
CycleWorks.
CycleWorks. I need to stop by CycleWorks.
CycleWorks are some friends of mine.
Yeah.
They've been on the podcast before. They actually are a good couple. They were on they were on the podcast together.
Okay.
I haven't done many couples.
Yeah.
I need to do another couple.
Yeah.
I should look for another couple.
You should look for another couple.
Anyway, I haven't really met the Gear Down people, so I have no good or bad things to say about them.
Right,
But
yeah.
CycleWorks, my fam.
So I ride by them literally my two routes are either go east to 196 or go west to 1924, and I always ride by them on New Jefferson. And I'm always like, I need to stop in there.
You will love the Hilliards.
Yeah.
Brad Hilliard, amazing guy.
Nice.
Cool place. He's almost always has a Star Wars movie playing in there.
I'm
Right?
there.
Right?
I'm there.
Cool story.
Uh-huh.
He's been riding bikes since he was a kid, and he was ramping them on half pipes. Ask him about that.
Okay.
He's got, I mean, just cool guy.
Nice.
So if you get a chance, this is not sponsored by. This podcast is not sponsored by CycleWorks. It probably should have been, but
It is now,
it is
apparently.
now. But definitely you should swing in there.
I will swing in there,
Adult
actually.
place.
I will
I
swing
actually was there 2 or 3 days ago
Okay.
filming a time lapse outside of his
Oh, cool.
shop.
Nice.
So.
Bike actually needs to tune up right now, so that might be.
And he does that.
He does do that.
Yeah.
He does do that.
Actually, he just told me that the Tour de Paris has him. They hired him to follow the meet. I think I'm saying this right, so that he can help people.
Oh, he's the SAG. He's the SAG and the mobile fix.
the mobile fix.
That's awesome.
That makes sense.
That's
So,
cool. Very cool.
And he's been doing that forever, and out of his garage before he even had a building.
Okay, got it.
He's super knowledgeable.
Very cool.
Thank you. You're welcome, the Hilliards.
Yeah,
I love you guys.
There you go.
All right, thank you again for coming.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Hey guys, we try to do this every Monday. I used to be so good at getting like 4 podcasts done in one day, and then I'd be like 4 weeks out, and then I wouldn't have to think about it for 4 weeks. Lately, I've been doing them like the week of.
Excellent.
So your podcast will be out this coming Monday, just
Yes.
so you know. But tune in every Monday. We try to release a new podcast, meet somebody new, hear their story. If you ever want to sponsor this podcast, give me a ring. Find me on Facebook. There's actually a Facebook page if you want to keep up with what's being released and when, called Paris, Texas, a Podcast. We're on all major podcast apps. Paris, Texas, a Podcast. It's pretty easy to find. So stay tuned. Next week, another podcast. We'll see you guys then.